True stories so scary, you might not want to use Craigslist ever again. 1. The case of Philip Markoff, the Craigslist killer. 2009. Philip Markoff was an unlikely suspect for a series of crimes. He was a second-year medical student engaged to be married, with a seemingly bright future. However, in April 2009, his double life came to light. Markoff used Craigslist to find women offering erotic services, seeking out victims for his violent acts. His first known victim was Tricia Leffler, a woman he bound and robbed at gunpoint. Just 4 days later, he met Julissa Brisman at the Marriott Copley Place Hotel in Boston. Brisman, who had advertised massage services on Craigslist, was found bludgeoned and shot to death in her hotel room. The evidence, including security footage, email correspondences, and physical evidence such as the murder weapon and prepaid cell phones, led authorities to Markoff. Investigators found a semi-automatic weapon, duct tape, and zip ties in his home, tools similar to those used in the attacks. Markoff maintained his innocence but was charged with first-degree murder, armed robbery, and other offenses. His fiancée initially supported him, but as evidence mounted, she ended their relationship. On August 15, 2010, while awaiting trial, Markoff took his own life in his jail cell, using items he collected to fashion a makeshift knife and inflict lethal wounds. 2. The Murder of Catherine Olson by Michael John Anderson, 2007. The story begins with 24-year-old Catherine Olson seeking out a new job. She found a listing on Craigslist for a babysitting position and responded. The ad was posted by 19-year-old Michael John Anderson, who authorities would later discover had no children to watch over, nor a genuine job to offer. On October 25, 2007, Olson went to Anderson's home in Savage, Minnesota. There, according to prosecutors, Anderson shot Olson in the back. He then wrapped her body in a towel, placed her in the trunk of her car, and abandoned the vehicle in a nearby park. When Olson did not return home, her family reported her missing, prompting an investigation that led to the discovery of her body. The subsequent police investigation traced the Craigslist ad back to Anderson, who initially claimed innocence but was eventually linked to the crime through forensic evidence. The motive appeared senseless. Anderson seemed to derive some kind of morbid satisfaction from the act itself. In 2009, he was convicted of first-degree murder and received a life sentence without the possibility of parole. 3. The Southern Ohio Craigslist Murders, 2011. In Ohio, Richard Beasley and 16-year-old Brogan Rafferty devised a nefarious plan to use Craigslist for murder. They posted a job ad offering employment on a fictitious cattle farm. Several middle-aged men, down on their luck due to the recession, responded to the ad hoping for a fresh start. One applicant, Ralph Geiger, was the first to be killed in August 2011. Following Geiger, victims David Pauley and Timothy Kern were also murdered. The men were lured to a remote location in the guise of seeing the farm, then were robbed and killed, their bodies buried in shallow graves. The killing spree came to an end when Scott Davis, who responded to the ad, managed to escape after being shot in the arm. He navigated through the woods and sought help, leading to the unraveling of Beasley and Rafferty's crimes. The subsequent investigation led to the discovery of the bodies and the arrest of the perpetrators. Beasley was found guilty of multiple counts of aggravated murder and kidnapping. He received the death penalty. Rafferty, tried as an adult, was sentenced to life in prison without parole. 4. The Murder of Taylor Clark, 2015. Taylor Clark, a 21-year-old student at Southern Illinois University Edwardsville, decided to sell his sports car on Craigslist to afford his education. He connected with a potential buyer, Michael Gordon, who was an employee at a truck driver training center in Missouri. In May 2015, Clark met Gordon during a break between his final exams to finalize the sale of his Nissan 350Z. The transaction took a dark turn when, during the meeting, Clark was shot and killed by Gordon. The motivation behind the murder was not immediately clear, as robbery did not appear to be the motive. Clark's car and the money he had on him were left at the scene. It was a shocking and unprovoked attack that left Clark's family and community reeling. Clark's body was found the next day at the truck training center where Gordon worked, buried under a pile of dirt and rubble. Gordon was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. He was later convicted and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. 5. The Beating and Robbery of a San Diego Woman, 2009. In a different type of encounter that underscores the broad spectrum of risks associated with Craigslist, a woman in San Diego, California, who has remained unnamed for her protection, fell victim to a brutal beating and robbery in her home. She had advertised a diamond ring for sale on Craigslist and was contacted by 2 potential buyers. Expecting a couple interested in purchasing her jewelry, she welcomed them into her home. The supposed buyers, instead of discussing the sale, violently attacked the woman, tying her up and beating her before stealing the ring. The perpetrators, who turned out to be a man and a teenage girl, then proceeded to ransack the home for other valuables. The woman sustained significant injuries but survived the ordeal. The investigation led to the identification and arrest of the culprits. The adult male was identified as Garrett Hughes, who, along with the underage accomplice, was charged with a series of crimes, including robbery, burglary, and assault. This case was particularly unsettling as it involved a minor in significant criminal activity and displayed the harsh reality that inviting strangers into one's home, a common practice in transactions initiated via platforms like Craigslist, can result in violence and trauma. These stories are indeed scary, as they remind us that the anonymity and ease of connection provided by online services like Craigslist can sometimes create opportunities for those with malicious intent. It's crucial to exercise caution, meet in public places, and consider the potential risks when engaging in transactions with strangers. If you want to hear more unsettling stories based around true events, make sure to like and subscribe.